Welcome to day 301 of our DeSo journey. I'm Ed Krasenstein here with my twin brother, Brian, and we have a special guest. You know her as Louise, design star on DeSo, and one of the co-founders of Stori. Welcome, Louise.
Hi, thanks for having me all on my own today.
I think this is like your third time, right?
Yeah, fourth, third.
There's no Lucy this time. You're with Lucy the last couple.
I'm lonely.
We miss you, Lucy.
Make it today. I know, we miss you.
So again, these videos are sponsored by NFT Tech. They are an investor in Cloutfeed. And we'll get to the news, and then we're going to talk about Stori, because Stori is one of my favorite upcoming projects on DeSo. Yesterday, there was a Twitter Spaces that was held at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. It kind of came up out of the blue. It was kind of a surprise event, but it was a good event talking about some of the Octane funded teams. Brian and I were there. Mubs was there. So Lil Sethi from Open Prosper, Jack from Polygram and Spookies, Manish from Real Simple Labs. He has a really cool project that he's working on. Zordan, of course, from Diamond. Natter was there, Alex Velatis, Megan Vita, and also Jason Knott of DeSo Messenger. And he kind of let something out of the bag, I guess you could say. And he said that DeSo Messenger is launching by the end of this month, which I'm really excited about.
Yeah, it was a really good 1 hour. I think there is between 130 and 150 people throughout the hour. So I think a lot of people from outside of DeSo joined in because it was on Twitter Spaces, which is great. And I think the conversation really would have appealed to people outside of DeSo and got them interested, because the topics we discussed and about the future of Web3, we kind of compared Web3 to Web2. We talked about why we all joined DeSo, why we as developers all started building on DeSo. Why we chose DeSo. So it was a really good, I think, intro for people who were maybe developers and possible users of future users of DeSo who might be considering. And it was a success. Like, these Twitter Spaces, I think, are really valuable for the community because it's bringing people in. It's appealing to outside crypto users.
Yeah, and Luis, I almost called you Lucy. I have to. Your names are so close together. It's like,
I know. You can call me whatever.
Okay, Luis. So have you heard about DeSo Messenger, and do you have like any plans to integrate that with Stori in any way?
Well, yeah, I've heard of it. We will be having messaging on Stori. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, that's.
Yeah. Well, you've got also messages 2.0 coming out from Core, which means that you're probably going to be able to do some pretty cool things with messages on Stori outside of DeSo Messenger.
Yeah, very cool. Can't wait to
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Stori. I can't wait to talk about that. But also today at 2 p.m. Eastern time, there's a huge DeSomon and Unicat collaboration NFT that's being dropped. Again, that's at 2 p.m. Eastern time, and it's going to be an auction that's left open for 30 minutes. And then there's going to be 2 minutes. They're going to allow 2 minutes to pass after every last bid before they close it out. I got to see the DeSomon Unicat collaboration. I feel super privileged for being able to see this.
I didn't even get to see it. What the heck?
That sounds cool.
But it's awesome. I can't wait for you guys to see it. And I think it's probably going to be one of the cooler NFTs that you've seen so far. You can watch it drop on desomon.nftz.zone if you want, again at 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Exciting.
Do you own any DeSomon, Luis?
No, I don't think we do.
I know, I don't think we do either. We had to get one.
I want some.
They're so expensive. They sell for so much.
I know, missed the boat.
See, if there was some sort of DAO, we could go into it together, I guess. But
that's a good point.
Wait for that.
James Barrett is the artist behind DeSomon, and they're awesome. And Unicat's another awesome NFT project. Yeah. So seeing these two combined for this collaboration is going to be really cool. It's going to be interesting to see how much they can get. So yesterday, Natter made a post talking about the hard fork and how once this hard fork takes place, DeSo is going to have the #1 NFT product in the entire crypto market. Brian, do you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so I mean, he talked about like how like all these new changes are really going to kind of bring things up. And he's focused on NFTs and how you're going to be able to share commission with other artists in a trustless manner. You're going to be able to have buy now. So I think that he believes that DeSo NFTs can compete with any other NFT out there, any other blockchain out there. Dharmesh replied, and he brought up some good points, and it was kind of a contrarian point of view. And he said that he thinks that the flashy stuff isn't really necessary. And he said to focus on like the core aspects of DeSo, which are like profiles, posts, follows, diamonds, messaging. He said focus on that stuff, and that will bring in the crowds, and you can keep them there by kind of saying, hey, on top of this, we have creator coins and NFTs and DAO coins and smart services. So he brought up that point. Nader replied, and he thanked Dharmesh for the feedback. He kind of explained what he was doing and what his line of thought was. And then he asked him, like, what do you think's best? Like, should we continue to be rolling out all these new features? Are we overwhelming people, or should we? Natter's view is that we put all this stuff out there, and the developers come on board, and they have all these tools, and with all these tools, they can build amazing products, and just one amazing product can drive 1 million users. So they had a back and forth here, and Dharmesh kind of saw where Nader was coming from, but he kind of compared it to Legos. And like when Legos came out, they weren't a success because Legos had all these crazy blocks. He actually said Lego didn't win because they had custom molded limited use bricks like they do now in many kits, but because they were brilliantly simple. And that's true. Like if you think about it, like Legos have passed the test of time over decades and decades. I mean, my mom, I'm sure, maybe my grandmom played with Legos because they're simple, and you can use Legos and do whatever you want with them, build whatever you want. And the simplicity kind of is what drove attention to their brand. It wasn't the crazy new flashing lights or anything like that. So I think it's a good conversation. I'm glad they had it. I think Dharmesh has a lot to offer. I think Nader is listening, and maybe he'll take something from it. But I think it is kind of tricky in the early stages. And even Dharmesh said, hey, I mean, it's the $1 billion answer. If you knew the answer of exactly how to start this new social protocol and bring in millions or billions of people, it's a $1 billion idea. So I mean, it's a $1 billion question. Nobody really knows. There's going to be a lot of debate, but I think we have some smart people behind the scenes working on things. Nader for sure, Dharmesh chiming in with stuff that he has, information that he has accumulated over the years, and building a multi-billion dollar company. So I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah, and I think NFTs, he does have a point that DeSo NFTs are the best NFTs. I mean, besides the fact that there's not people trading NFT, buying and selling as much as other chains, but they're going to have full feature parity with ERC 721 NFTs. They're going to have the lowest gas on any chain. They're going to have on-chain splits. I don't think that's available on any other chain either. And of course, social and identity is natively going to be baked into it. So I think he has a point, but you need the daily active users. Without daily active users,
if you don't have users who take advantage of these features and to create a market, then it's kind of going unnoticed. I think that was Dharmesh's point.
Yeah. So,
but I mean, I think Stori has the potential to bring in those users, right?
Yeah, and NFTs too. But we're still going to wait, because I want to get into that at the very end, because I think it's so amazing. I don't want to just have to cut you short. So finally, the final piece of news today was Supernova's added a discovery section to their NFT platform. It now shows featured NFTs, community favorites, categories. You now view NFTs in certain categories like generative art, photography, etc. There's a fresh drop section, and Supernova's verified creators, where they list the verified creators. And additionally, there's content formats, so you can view NFTs by images or by videos. And I think it was a great addition. You know, now you can discover NFTs a lot better on Supernovas. And in general, I think it's great for the DeSo NFT space.
Well, yeah, and like Nader said, like you give developers the tools, and they're giving us the tools. Especially, I think next week or the week after, we're going to get additional tools, especially within an NFT space, and they can develop and do amazing things. So I think we're seeing that.
Yeah, for sure. And I just want to remind everybody today at 11 a.m. Eastern time on Clubhouse, there's the DeSo Week-in-Review room with Michelle Lord, Miss Katie Ann, DeSo Chats, French Connector, Wildography, Clout Women Unite, and of course, Krasenstein. Brian does the weekly review every week in that room, and Miss Katie Ann gives their weekly review of community events. So definitely check that out if you haven't yet, and we'll see you there. But let's get to Stori and let's get to design style and what you guys are doing with Revolve.
Yeah.
Stori is an app. If you haven't heard of it yet, you've probably been living under a rock. Tell us a little bit about what Stori is for those who don't know.
So Stori is a social app, obviously. Think about Instagram stories, how you share snippets of your daily life. With Stori, obviously with the old Web 2 format, you can post stories and save them for 24 hours and then they disappear. With Stori, you can post stories for 24 hours. And then you can also, if you want to, you can choose to post them to the storyboard, which then makes them become searchable via hashtags. And then other users can create their own storyboards, kind of like mood boards, where they can curate other people's stories and save them into a collection, like a storyboard collection. So it's going to be really good. It's kind of different. I think people thought we were just doing a clone of Instagram, but then we've got that added bit on there as well. And then we're also going to have the Stori marketplace, which is where creators can upload stickers, stories, templates, filters, mint them as NFTs and sell them in the marketplace as well. So we're going to have a whole NFT marketplace in the app also.
Yeah, like I love that. I love how you're taking NFTs and using them in a unique way. Like I don't think we've seen this on any other application on DeSo or off of DeSo. I don't think there's anything like it where you can add features to your story which are actually NFTs, and you can have filters and stuff that are actual NFTs. So I think it's gonna monetize things better for creators and artists in a way that we haven't seen elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it's going to just be really fun. It's obviously a fun way anyway of just like decorating your stories and making them look good. But then think about like brands will be able to create their own stickers and attach utility to them. So say, for example, I don't know, Adidas or Chanel or whoever comes along and they make their own sticker series, and then they could attach some like exclusive event invitations, or you get like access to a private viewing or discount or some free merchandise. So that could be huge for brands. Obviously for creators, what our aim is to make it so that creators can earn a living by minting their NFTs and selling them. Yeah, there's just so many ways. Honestly, this project just keeps getting bigger and bigger. It keeps getting bigger and better. We're just like, it's huge.
Yeah, like I feel like you guys went in with this idea, but you've added so many things as you've thought about it. Like you came up with more ideas as you started building it.
This is why we're all very sleep deprived right now, because we're just going crazy with ideas all the time, and just every day it's like evolving and getting bigger and better. But yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Well, think about if you also had to worry about user acquisition and all that. Like the good thing about DeSo is you're building on the blockchain. This data is already there. These users are already there. Of course, we don't have a ton of users, but it's something you don't have to worry quite so much about because you already have this user base. So you don't have that those first few months where you have like 10 people on board and you're just trying to, yeah.
Well, it is super important to us to be launching to a big audience. We are trying to obviously create more of a mainstream app that would be, accessible to the masses. So that's why we're really trying to go big and try and get lots of people into our Discord at the moment. Our aim is to try and get at least 10,000 people waiting in there for the app launch. I think we've just hit 1,200, so we're doing all right so far. but yeah, so we're trying to open it up to people that are outside of the DeSo community. I mean, as amazing as the DeSo community is, we want to get new people in as well. So if anyone wants to help us with getting people in the Discord, that would be great, because that means that you'll get your hands on the app quicker.
Yeah, like Brian said, you know, you're gonna have this user base, but you also want to reach outside of DeSo because you want to hit that Instagram crowd or TikTok crowd.
Exactly. The market is so huge, and we're really trying to introduce NFTs to people that wouldn't have a clue about NFTs normally. And right now, I mean, you go and try and buy NFTs and it's usually quite complicated. And most people, if they weren't into it that much, they would give up quite quickly, I feel. So with Stori, we're just trying to make it super easy for anyone to understand what it is. Like that's why we're making it so it's like familiar UI, UX. So they're going to come on, they're going to kind of know what they're doing. It's nothing too scary. And they'll see these stickers that they kind of already have been using in Instagram. And we'll obviously have a whole free collection as well. So it's like, you don't have to pay for them. But if there's some really cool ones with added extras that you can buy, then it just makes it all really easy for people. So yeah.
Yeah, I love the idea where you're going to allow artists to create their own stickers, their own filters, and then mint a certain quantity of them as NFTs and sell them. And others can buy them and put those stickers on their story. But you're also allowing creators to mint their stories as NFTs, right?
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of like you can mint and sell your ideas as NFTs, which is quite a cool concept. I think if people are sharing really valuable content, and normally it disappears after 24 hours, but in Stori, it'll be like, you can either post it forever or you can mint it and sell it as an NFT. And it's just kind of cool to get fully rewarded.
I think that's going to be
idea.
I think that's going to be amazing for Instagram influencers who want to monetize themselves. And
Exactly,
you know, like in the beginning of DeSo, I don't know if you remember, but so many Instagram people came over to DeSo, especially through Clubhouse rooms, and they were like trying their best to like try and figure out how they can fit on DeSo. And I'd say like 90% of them after a month ended up leaving just because there just wasn't something there for them. But I feel like Stori is that thing that's now going to be there.
Well, and go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say another cool thing that we're planning is we're really trying to add the gamification into the ads. So we're going to have a token running alongside the app. So obviously for fundraising, and then we'll have a big community pot that will go into the app. We'll have in-app tokens, and that's what you'll earn with buying and selling the NFTs. But we'll also have like creator levels, so you're sort of rewarded for the more content that you share. So you've shared a certain amount of stories and you earn some token back. You've minted a certain amount of NFTs and you earn token back. So it's kind of like really increasing that buy-in and making people come back for more, and keeping it exciting with the opportunity to earn.
That's a really unique idea.
Are you going to integrate creator coins, or are you just leaving creator coins out of it?
Leaving it out, yeah.
Yeah, so it is really straightforward. Then people come on, they see it, it's kind of like Instagram, they know exactly what to do. It's not confusing. I actually like that. I think in some cases creator coins are great, and it's something that's going to probably be here to stay, obviously be here to stay. But I think that certain apps, it's good that they pick and choose features because you want to kind of appeal to different crowds.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, we love the creator coins. I think that's really cool, like on Diamond App, BitClout, all that. But I think it would complicate things, and we just need to keep it simple. And definitely we're not going to have creator coins.
That's always something you could add later. You know, like once you have this huge user base, you could say, let's do this now.
I think we need to keep it as simple as possible for launch, and then you never know. Who knows in the future if it catches on more.
Yeah. So are you planning on using DAO coins at all?
Well, like I said, we're going to do a token. So obviously waiting for the DeSo DAO to come out, and then hopefully that can do everything that we need. We were looking at a couple of options. We were looking at like a Solana token as well, but I think it makes more sense to use the DeSo DAO. Just hopefully it can do everything that we need it to, but most likely.
I love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So when do you expect things to roll out? Like, I think you mentioned like 6 weeks or so. Is that?
Yeah, so obviously, like I said before, we're trying to fill the Discord. We've just started on Twitter a couple of weeks ago. We've gone a bit crazy on Twitter. We've been getting obsessed with trying to get people into the Discord. So if you can come and follow us on there, we are Stori on Twitter. So we're trying to get people into the Discord. We're aiming to have 10,000 people waiting for when we put the app out there at least. And we are going to beta test. I sound really British when I say that. Beta testing, beta testing. So we'll have a group of 50 beta testers from the top 50 most active members of the Discord. So that is going to be ready for beta testing in around 6 weeks, I think. So yeah.
So if you're listening right now,
be active in the Discord.
Spread the Stori Discord to everyone you know. You might know people that were slow. They didn't want to join DeSo because they didn't really get it. Yeah. They might, most likely, they like Instagram. So show them Stori, tell them what it's going to be, and tell them to join the Discord. The sooner they do, the sooner we're going to see Stori.
Exactly. If you want that app in your hands, get people in the Discord.
Just don't spam. Yeah. Don't spam.
No, don't spam. No, spamming is not fun. No, it's not.
Yeah. So I mean, like I said to you before the show started, I think like this is my favorite app that I see coming up.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, it's mine too.
Yeah, like and I think the fact that you're working with Rabal, who has already established himself as such a great developer on DeSo, I think that's a plus. Like when you announce that, I'm like, oh man, this is definitely going to be the best. Not that I didn't think it was going to be already.
I know. I think actually the last time I spoke to you guys, I really wanted to tell you that we were working with Rabal, but I couldn't say. So
I think so. Yeah.
The news came out like the next day or something.
Yeah,
like she didn't say anything.
No, I know. Well, I was sworn to secrecy. But yeah, Rabal is absolutely amazing. It's been great working with him. He's seriously talented. But yeah, you can just do everything. So it's great. We're actually hiring at the moment. Me and Rabal have been doing interviews all week trying to hire developers. So we've had a few good candidates in so far. So yeah, we're just trying to scale the team up a little bit right now.
Can't Rabal do it all himself?
Well, yeah, he can, to be fair, but no, we're actually aiming to have between 6 and 10 developers on the team.
Oh, wow.
So that is how huge the project is getting.
I'm even more excited now.
Yeah, we really want to have an amazing tech team. So that's what our main priority is at the moment, obviously, as well as finishing the app and making it amazing.
All right. Well, thanks so much for coming on our show again. And thanks for sharing the story of Stori.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Can't wait.
Lucy will be back next time.
Yeah, we miss you, Lucy. Sorry you couldn't be on.
Oh, but thanks for having me.
Thanks again. Talk to you later.
See you later.